Still waiting. Yeah. Hi there, guys. Right now we've got only 2 viewers. That's why, yes, I see that people are clicking on the link. So yes, 4 viewers. Okay, that is not that bad. So we're still waiting just for several seconds, and I hope everything gonna be fine. I mean, in terms of our equipment. Okay. So thank you for your patience. Just so much, so much. Okay, 6 viewers. That is even better. Okay. Okay, so guys, tell me please. We've got an icon with our chat. It is in the upper right corner. Left corner, no, that is left. Okay, so in the upper left corner, we've got the icon for chat, where we can communicate and ask different questions. Okay. Yes, so please write me there if you can, if this option is available right now, then please use it. Okay, if you cannot go to the chat, which is right on the Google Plus, then please use our chat in VK, because fortunately I've got one more computer, so I can definitely observe everything you're typing me and answer your questions right here. Okay. Yep. Okay. I hope we've got men today with us. I hope some of you joined our class today. So I would like to express my warmest congratulations on your holiday and wish you all the luck and the most beautiful women in the world. Please be happy, please be healthy, please never give up. And I wish you all the luck and all the love, because when you're loved, it is definitely really awesome. So my congratulations, and please celebrate this holiday, at least for some time. Okay. Okay, so I think we can start right now, because we've already have got 9 viewers, and that's not that much, not that many, but that's okay. So so today our grammar topic will be passive voice, and I think that it is a common knowledge that passive voice is that piece of grammar that sometimes, okay, let's say the truth, not sometimes, but quite often causes quite a lot of troubles, and sometimes for many people it can be very, very difficult to comprehend, but still don't shatter, because it may be a little bit difficult, but still it is really possible to comprehend. So let's have a look at the presentation I've prepared for you, because I really, really believe that it will help you to learn this piece of grammar. And finally, I really believe after all the practice with the second teachers and after all the homeworks I believe you will do, and you will do it properly, you will finally use it on daily basis and like with no mistakes, so you'll be absolutely flawless at that. Okay, where is it? Okay, I'm gonna show you the screen of my computer. Sorry for the mess you can find there. I think that that's a normal thing for many people, so my excuses. And I'm showing you the presentation. Here it is. Yep. Okay. Okay, hope you can see it. So, in most cases, on daily basis, we use active voice. And the opposite of active voice is passive voice. So let's have a look at the example. So the example is as the following one. I eat cookie. I eat cookie. Okay, so that is a sentence in active voice. And let's have a look at the very first word in this sentence. So the subject. The subject in this red box. So the subject is the personal pronoun I. So what is important for us in this sentence? The most important thing is this sentence is that it is me who actually performs the action. So we place the greatest emphasis on the subject. So that is me, not Susie, not Jeannie, not John who performs the action. That is me who eat cookie, okay? But if we want to make a passive voice, what should we do? The last word, cookie, which is an object, goes to the first place in the sentence. The verb or the predicate also changes its position and it changes its form, so we transform it. I hope you know the formula according to which we transform this verb. And the last thing, what happens to the subject? What happens to the person or to the thing which or who performs the action? We just get rid of it. What does it mean to get rid of something? To get rid of something means that you just eliminate it. So you take it away. You just say bye-bye to the subject and that's it. So the active sentence, I eat cookie, is transformed into cookie is eaten. Let's have a look at the other example. Hope you can easily recognize the popular place, and this place is known by many people all over the world. Very famous one. So that is a Stonehenge, right? And the sentence we've got is like that. People built Stonehenge in prehistoric times. Yep. And if we don't want to pay attention to, to those who performed the action, and we want to say just that the action was performed and that's it, what should we do? How should we transform this sentence? So let's have a look at that. Stonehenge. Stonehenge, which is an object. Okay, an object, by the way, for those who maybe don't know what does the object mean. So object is дополнение. So object goes to the first place. Then the next position is occupied with the verb. So the verb built is transformed into was built. And what happens to the subject, which used to occupy the very first position in the sentence? We just get rid of it. We just say bye-bye to it, and that's it. So that means that our passive variant of the subject would sound just like Stonehenge was built in prehistoric times. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at some other examples. So, my grandfather, which is a subject, built a house, and a house is an object. Okay. So, what happens to this very sentence if we transform it into the passive variant? So, house, which is an object, goes to the first position. So, a house then goes was built by my grandfather. Okay? So, so here we've got the formula of passive voice. So the formula of the passive voice is like that. So that is the verb to be. What does it mean? So the verb to be, which is like is, am, are, so we all know that pretty well. In past tense, it is was or were, and we change it when we use the present perfect respectively, plus past participle. What is past participle? Past participle is the third form of the verb. So if it is a regular verb, then we just add the ending ed to the word. And if it is a regular verb, then we just turn our attention to the table of irregular words, and the past participle can be found in the third column. Okay. So let's have a look one more time at this example. So built. So the first form of this word is build with the letter D at the end of it. Okay. If we want to make a passive voice, then we need the verb to be. The verb to be in past tense, in past simple tense sounds like was, at least for the subject in singular form. So we need was, and then we need the past participle of the verb to build. So the past participle of the verb to build sounds like built, because this one is irregular. Okay. Yep. Okay. So here we've got some examples of how can we use passive voice with in present simple. So of course, first of all, we take the verb to be, which is or maybe are or maybe am, and we take past participle of the verb, of the main verb. So somebody cleans this room every day. This room is cleaned every day. Like that. Okay. And right now I would like you to give me some examples of how can we use passive voice in present simple tense. Okay. So I would like you to write your examples in VK in our chat, because it will be really convenient for me to have a look at them and maybe even say out loud the best of them. So please, I ask you very, very much to write these examples to the VK. Okay. So what happens to passive voice in present continuous? In present continuous, we again take the verb to be, so is or are, plus we take the word being, and then we take past participle. So we don't use the formula of present continuous in active voice, so that is an obvious thing. And the formula of present continuous in active voice is like to be plus verb with ing ending. We all know that. So there is one difference. It is almost the same, but you also need being. Being is very, very important, plus past participle. So you don't add ing ending to the main verb. You add the ing ending to be. So these are examples. Somebody is cleaning this room at the moment. And if we want to transform this sentence into the passive voice, what should we do? So we take the verb to be, which is, then we have to express somewhere that is not just a passive voice in present simple tense. That's why we have to put ing ending somewhere. So where do we put it? We add it to be, and we have is being, and after that we need past participle of the verb to clean. The verb to clean is regular one, so we don't turn our attention to the table of irregular verbs. We just add ed ending to the verb, and that's it. Okay. And I'm still waiting for your examples. I'm looking forward to seeing them very, very much. So please send them. Okay. Okay, so here we've got example of passive voice in present continuous tense. So the example of its usage. Very, very famous advertisement known by almost everybody. Like McDonald's, I'm loving it. How can we transform it into passive voice? So it is an object. It goes to the first position. Again, I'm just repeating it. And then we need the verb, the transformed one. So as far as that is the example of present continuous tense, then we take the verb to be, which is in this very sentence. Then we take be with ing ending, because we have to show somehow that, hey, this very case is about present continuous. So we take being, and then we take past participle of the verb, so which is loved. So it is being loved by me, like that. Sounds very ridiculous and even hilarious, but nevertheless, grammatically it is correct. Okay. Okay, and here we have got past simple. So passive voice in past simple. We remember that the forms of the verb to be in past tense sound like was or were for plural, for singular nouns and for plural nouns respectively. So was for those which are singular and were for those which are plural. And after that, we use past participle. Okay. So somebody cleaned this room yesterday. Okay. So we don't care who who did clean this room. That's why we don't use somebody. We just get rid of it. And we need the object which should go to the first place. So the object here is this room. So this room goes from almost the end of their sentence to the very first position. And now we have this room. And then we need the verb, the transformed one. So we take was plus past participle of the verb to clean, which is cleaned. And we have got this room was cleaned yesterday. Okay. Okay. Simple future. I think that the usage of simple future in passive voice can cause you almost no troubles, because future simple itself is quite a simple tense. I should even say that sometimes it is not even necessary to describe this tense and to explain this tense to people very, very thoroughly and very meticulously, because they just they can grasp it almost instantaneously, just like that, because it is really simple. Because what can be difficult about it? You just take will, you just take the verb, that's it. Really awesome tense, I think so. So the same story, almost the same story, is about future simple in passive voice. So we just take this word will, and to show that anyway we are speaking about the future, and then we take the verb to be, so be, and then again past participle. Examples: somebody will clean this room tomorrow. How can we transform it into the passive voice? So the object goes to the first position, we get rid of the subject, and what do we get? So this room will be cleaned tomorrow. See? So just will, then be, then clean with ed ending. Pretty simple. Okay. Present perfect. Okay. So we remember that present perfect tense is used in those cases when we are talking about some actions which took place in the past, but they've got quite a great deal of connection with what we've got today and what we're gonna have tomorrow. So they are very, very connected. All these actions are very connected with the present time and with the future time. So there is connection. Yes, and we use this tense when we don't know specific time when this action took place. So no yesterday, no last year. It just was in the past, and that's it. So what should we do with passive voice in present perfect? We take have or has, have for the plural and has for the singular, and then we take the verb to be, but not just the verb to be, but its third form. So we take been, which is followed by past participle. This room looks nice. Somebody has cleaned this room. So how can we transform it? So we make almost no changes. So almost anything is changed. This room looks nice. It has been cleaned. We just put been between has and cleaned, and we get the wanted result. So everything is fine right now. And so we show that we don't really care about who really has performed the action. We just enjoy the result. So this room looks nice because it has been cleaned, and the person who performed the action is of no importance to us. Okay, so here we can see the table which is attributed to passive voice formation. So how can we make passive voice, and all the rules are gathered together, so they are just in one table. And where if tomorrow you'll have a wish to refresh this piece of grammar, then I think you should pay special attention to this very slide, because it has all the rules about the formation of passive voice. So it is really convenient. It can be really convenient for you. Okay. And now I want us to have a look at the cases in which we definitely should use passive voice and not active voice. So let's have a look at these examples. Mrs. Smith's ring was stolen from her house last night. So a burglar got into Mrs. Smith's house and stole her precious, her very expensive and very beautiful ring. That is a disaster. But still, we don't know who was this guy who dared to commit a crime. So that is why we use passive voice. And we say, Mrs. Smith's ring was stolen from her house last night, because we don't know, we have no idea who stole the ring. So if you don't know the one who is responsible for the action, or maybe you just don't care about the one who performed the action, then you should say the idea in passive voice. Okay. So here goes the next example. Rolls-Royce. One of the greatest cars in history. Just look at that. It looks so beautiful. I think it is very, very comfortable inside. Maybe it is covered in leather. So really expensive car and really posh. I'm personally really fond of it. I think it looks just great. So Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce cars are made in England. Isn't important for us who makes these cars? No, it is of no importance for us. We don't know. We don't know this information, and we, really don't care about that. So that is why we use passive voice. And the next one. Okay. So the cows are milked once a day. So it is obvious for us that the farmer milks the cows, because if you're an office worker, you're definitely not keen on milking the cows, so why should you? And why should we even mention that only farmers can milk the cows? It is just very, very clear from the context. So there is no need to say to mention the person who is responsible for that. So that's why we use passive voice. And again, just have a look at the way we form the passive voice. So we take, as far as this sentence is used in present simple tense, and we should transform it into the passive voice, we take the form, the proper form of the verb to be, which is are, because the cows, it is plural form. And then we take the past participle, so we just add ed ending to the word milk. Okay, and here is the next example. Quite often, passive voice is used in different newspapers, in TV programs, in some articles you can find in magazines or in newspapers again, because you don't know the details. I mean, the people who write about these or about different actions, they don't know the details. So 2 teenagers were seriously injured in car accident last night. We don't know who is responsible for this disaster, because if 2 teenagers were injured, that is definitely not a good thing. We just know the fact that it took the place, and we feel quite sorry for that. So that's why this TV presenter is saying that 2 teenagers were seriously injured, not mentioning who is responsible for the action. Okay. And okay, just a moment. Just a moment. Sorry. Okay. And now one more case of the passive voice usage. So, sometimes we've got such things in life which we better not do on our own or by ourselves. Why? Because it can end up in disaster. And now I'm gonna tell you one little story, and I think quite a lot of women and girls who are listening to this grammar lesson, will understand what I mean. Because I think such things can happen to almost any girl. So let's imagine the situation that your hair grew very, very long, and that became a problem for you. Why? Because now your bang is very long, so it gets on your nerves. it covers almost all of your forehead, and you can see almost anything. So you probably wouldn't like this thing. So then what happens? You should cut your hair, but maybe you don't want to waste your money, or you don't want to waste your time going to a hairdresser, so you decide just to do it by yourself. So what should you do in this situation? Of course, you should Google it. So you surf the internet and you find what you should do. Here is the very, very fine explanation of what you should do with your hair. Okay, so you do it, and what happens then? So there is a very high probability that you may look just like Emily. Don't get me wrong, I'm really fond of Emily, and I think that she has an absolutely gorgeous bang, but let's face the truth, that is not the length of bang which suits everybody. And so what happens to you? You are very disappointed, you are almost frustrated, you are asking yourself, like, what have I done? How can I go on? What that means? That means that there are some things in life which we cannot do on our own, and in order to get those things, we should turn to somebody else. So that means that if you have turned to somebody else, that probably you cannot use active voice in order to describe this or that action. So you cannot say, but you'd better not, and of course you can do these things, but you'd better not. So I cut my hair, or I cut my bang. So can it be a good idea? I don't think so. So my hair was cut, or my bang was cut. That is way better, really. So we just transform the active voice into the passive one. And again, the object goes to the first place, while we are getting rid of the subject, and we transform the verb. And that's why we cannot say cut, but we should say was cut. And if we want to specify the one who performed the action, then we use so then we use the word by, and then we put the name of a person who is responsible for this or that action. So we can say my hair was cut by Susie, or my bang was cut by Susie. Okay. Okay. Again, one more example of the by usage. So while penguins attacked my sister, very weird situation and probably very, very hard to imagine it. But let's try. So how should we transform it? So while penguins go to the final position in the sentence, and they are yes, sorry. And before the wild penguins, we put by, because these guys are those who did something. And then my sister, or the object, goes to the first position, and the verb attacked, it's transformed into the passive voice. So to be plus past participle, and we get was attacked. Okay, and now one more situation. So why should we use, yes, don't be surprised at what you can see right now on your screen. So, because I've got a little story for you. to make it really illustrative. So passive voice also should be used when we want to sound very, very polite and we don't want to be rude to people we love. So let's imagine the situation. So you used to have the last iPhone and you spent a great deal of money on it and you had been absolutely in love with it. Bang is chalka. Okay. So, and you had been absolutely in love with it. But then came the most horrible day in your life. And your best friend or your beloved person has accidentally dropped it. Oh, sorry, 1 moment. Okay. So, somebody dropped it. Tragedy? Yes, it is. And you are really frustrated and you have no idea how can you leave after that, so your life is over. But you don't want to offend the person you love. And but nevertheless, you are truly disappointed and you want to express your feelings, and you don't want to say that you are really frustrated and disappointed and you don't like the situation. So in this case, okay, so yes, that is the frustration. In this case, instead of saying something like, you are such a fool, you ruined my iPhone, which sounds very, very offensive and can offend very deeply the person you love, yes, you should say it in a different way. So you'd better say, oh my God, my iPhone is ruined. Maybe it is a little bit difficult to comprehend that the usage of past participle in this specific situation can make a great difference, but still it can, because it can make the idea you are trying to get across sound more polite and not that offensive as that could be. So in such cases, don't use active voice. Yes, don't use active voice. Use passive voice. Yes. So I think that is almost everything I could tell you about passive voice. I highly encourage you to do all the tasks you will be sent this week very, very meticulously. And please use this presentation when you will do the tasks, because I think we'll send you this presentation so you can use it almost all the time as a, I don't know, as a manual, as a grammar book, but in a more convenient way. So you can rely on it, and please do that. Okay. And now I'm moving on to the part of our lesson which is attributed to words and to vocabulary. And here is the first word. So the word versatile. The word versatile can be used to describe a person who is very, very gifted and very talented and has multiple sides, just plenty of different talents and abilities. So this person is capable of almost anything. Like, can you I don't know, can you speak 5 languages fluently? Of course I can. That's not a great deal for me. Can you play the guitar? Why not? Can you dance ballet? Of course I can. Okay. So such person can be called versatile. And of course, you've got a great advantage if you're one of these versatile guys. So, example, he knows many languages and he plays the guitar. He's definitely a very versatile person. And also, here on the slide, we've got a Russian example, sort of association, which which may enable you to keep in mind this word almost forever. So I think you all can speak Russian fluently, so I think there is like no need for me to say it out loud because we've got sort of English only. So please just have a look at it and try to memorize it. And the next one is dynamic. Dynamic, quite an international word. You can come across it almost in all the languages and of course in the Russian language. So dynamic is the one who is full of energy, who is very, very energetic, who cannot sit still at one place almost like even for a minute. So dynamic person is a person who always wants to be in motion. And I hope that you guys are really dynamic and you manage to do a great number of things during the day, because if you're a dynamic person, you can work a lot, you can think a lot, dream a lot. So that is really cool. So dynamic personality, I think you understand what does it mean. Dynamic market is the market which develops very, very rapidly. And dynamic economy, again, the economy which develops very rapidly at a very fast pace. Okay. The next one, generous. Hope that you all guys know this word, but in case you don't, you have not an exclusive opportunity, but a nice opportunity to learn this word finally. So generous. Generous is the one who is not mean. So if you come to a generous person and ask him or her for help, I mean in terms of money, for example, this person will always help you. And generous people usually give you the best presents because they are not afraid of spending money on the presents for their beloved people. So it is really cool if you have got generous parents or friends or boyfriends, okay, or generous wives. So example, generous father always gives his son plenty of pocket money. And also, there is an association on the slide which may help you to learn the word like by heart. Okay. Okay. Superstitious. Superstitious person is a person who is afraid, who is like scared stiff of bad luck. So superstitious people care a lot about how they can ward off bad luck and just bad things. So they believe in all those traditions and fairy tales, which may be understood as a part of this national heritage. Because I think if you're superstitious, it may be somehow explained by your culture, by the country you come from. So superstitious. A superstitious person will never go under the ladder, as it is supposed to bring bad luck. Like that. Okay. Okay, and then the next one, genuine. Genuine means the real one or sincere. And Here we've got an example. Genuine friendship can be come across very rarely nowadays. Again, in this sentence, we have got the example of passive voice, because three forms of the verb to come are come, came, come, and it is preceded by the modal verb can plus the verb to be. So can be come across is again their example of passive voice. Illiterate. Illiterate is a person who lacks the education. Sometimes illiterate, the word illiterate can be used to describe those people who cannot even write and read, or maybe they they haven't learned some sciences properly. So somebody maybe hasn't read enough books in his life, so you can call this person illiterate. So someone who is not clever enough, who is not educated enough, and consequently not interesting enough. So his parents were illiterate because they were coming from an exclusively poor background. Okay, and here we have got the word weird. Weird means strange or mystical, or the one who you cannot just easily understand, like too extraordinary. There is nothing wrong about being extraordinary, but if you're too extraordinary, that might cause some troubles for you. So, she has some weird ideas. So that means that your ideas are strange, or maybe they are silly and not worth your attention. So, another example. It's weird that you never noticed her, because maybe she's a very beautiful, like outstandingly beautiful girl, and you've never noticed her. So how could it be? It is weird. Okay. And one more. Nasty. Nasty means very unpleasant or very bad, or maybe not polite enough, like inappropriate. Nasty. What can be nasty? Like if you say that he is nasty to everyone, it means that he is very rude to everyone. Nasty story. Nasty story can be, maybe it is a story which shouldn't be given to children. So in the meaning that it's like a story for adults, if you know what I mean. Yes, and at the bottom of the slide, we've got the Russian example for memorizing the word. Okay. Maybe the example is quite weird, but nevertheless, it is not what matters to us. The most important thing for us is just to remember the word. Okay, the longer the better. Okay, and one more. Rebellious. Rebellious is the one who is really disobedient, the one who doesn't like following the rules, and the one who is not keen on obeying the law. So he can be against some rules, he can be against the law, he can be even against the government. Quite a dangerous thing, but anyway. And so rebellious, as you can understand, is an adjective. And rebel is a noun, but it has all the same, absolutely the same meaning. And you have got there the Russian translation and the examples in Russian. Okay. And the last word for today, which sounds sensible. Sensible is the one who is very practical or intelligent, or the one who is not self-indulgent. So sensible is the one who will never waste a great deal of money on the things he or she doesn't really need. And basically, sensible is the one who has enough sense. Okay, so how can we remember this word? I think you all guys know who is Angelina Jolie. So Angelina Jolie used to have a lot of things in her life, and maybe even sometimes weird and nasty things, but nevertheless, she has turned out to be quite a sensible girl, like, adopting children from foreign countries. So we can call her, yes, we can call her with the words which sounds with the Russian letters B and L. You can see that. And we can call her using the first word in the Russian association, because she is really sensational. Why not? She is an example of a great beauty. So please use this association to keep in mind this word. So I think that is the last word for today. So please use the grammar you've learned today as much as it is possible during the week with your second teachers and while doing your home task, in order to practice it, because practice is very, very important for the result. And thank you very much. I'm congratulating all the men one more time on their holiday. So have a great time, and I'm just saying you goodbye. Bye bye.